Hello, today is 420. I figured I'd do a morning video because I haven't done a morning video yet, and I think I'll do it, how to make a free energy device. I was listening to Bashar yesterday. For the first time I was listening to audio since I've been on my trip. I've been listening to only music until then, and then of course, you know, it makes you excited about, turns your brain on, makes you excited about talking videos and stuff. But I had listened to this one before, and he says something that I didn't hear before, but he was interesting because he goes, I can't even remember how the conversation started. Somebody was asking a question, and he said something like, yes, if you want to make an energy machine, all you do is a tetrahedron is a triangle, but it's a three-dimensional triangle, so it's like a triangle and then another triangle coming off the end of it, so it's like a three-dimensional triangle. So and then but if you have a triangle like this kind of sitting on its side, tetrahedron, and then you have another one upside down superimposed on it like a star, I think it's called an icosohedron. I'm not so sure, I haven't studied that so much, but anyways, he says if you make, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. If you make one of those, and then you add a spark to it, it can circulate energy around it, and then you can harness that energy and use it for free energy. So apparently that's how you make free energy. Now that is, I have heard, and actually the guy whose house I stayed at last night, David, said that, yeah, there's like the black ops people, like at Area 51 or whatever, have these little black boxes that they power their houses off of. And I think I've heard that before. Like they, you know, our black government already has the free energy that they back engineered or whatever. And it's just this simple little box, and you just plug it to it and it makes energy. So maybe that's the principles that it uses, and it makes sense to me, because my philosophy is that there's this psalm that my friend Tony told me once, that the wisdom of God is like the wisdom of man is like the deepest ocean, and the wisdom of God is like a bubbling brook. And it's like, you know, the truth is very simple, like very simple. You know, and I actually, like, you can always, when I like argue with people on YouTube and stuff, or whoever, it's really easy to argue with somebody because they make simple concepts complicated, and you just make it, you know, simple. You know, like somebody like, what the fuck you talking about, your fucking aliens? And you'd be like, you're like a fundamentalist Christian, you'd be like, well, Jesus is an alien. Fuck you. Why? No, he's not. Well, he comes from out there, doesn't he? Yeah, well, he's an alien. Anyways, that's just one example. There's a million examples, but it's very, 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 very simple. So, anyways, but it was interesting because that was a couple months ago. I was listening to videos by Nassim Haramein, who is this guy who is trying to, or I think he says he came up with the grand unified field theory. Now, the grand unified field theory is the the theory that's supposed to, it's like what Einstein never figured out, and it was like supposed to, like, mathematically with a formula explain gravity, and put all of the different physical laws and tie them together, because you have all these different physical laws that don't tie together right now the way we have it. You know, we have strong force, which holds the atoms together, and then the weak force, which would I think hold the atoms themselves, not the different atoms together, but the atoms in place, you know, keeping the electron from collapsing. But anyways, there's all these different, you know, and then they blow up the atom again, like at CERN, the particle accelerator, and they find another particle. So then they So then they name that other particle, and then they name another particle, and and then they have like quarks, is like there's two quarks of, two of a positive 1/3 charge, and one with a negative 2/3 charge, and so they equal each other out, and then they have, and it's like patchwork. It's kind of sloppy, and it seems that, well, I know intuitively that the real law of the universe is very, very simple. It's not something that you have to have bosons and quarks and muons and neutrons and protons and electrons and thisons and thatsons and strings and all this stuff. It's just much more simple than that. It's just so so that's why I think that little free energy thing was a cool idea. But anyways, Nassim Haramein was talking about part of his grand unified field theory is that everything in the universe is you could call it a hologram, or the little part contains the whole, or it's a fractal where it eternally gets smaller and smaller and smaller in the same proportion as it goes down. So so it does it physically. So there has to be like a physical lattice work, map, structure that holds it all together. So you'd have, and in the universe we have male and female, and so the male would be the say straight lines, and female are curves. So a male would be all of the straight, like a triangle would be male, and a circle would be the female. The circle that goes around and touches the edges of the triangle and goes around. So the flower of life is female, but all of those triangles connecting themselves together inside of a circle would be the male aspect of the flower of life. So that's how energy goes and circulates in the world. It comes in the earth from outer space or from the sun, and it enters the earth at 33 degrees or 19.5 degrees, because that's where the tetrahedron, or the three-dimensional the two tetrahedrons upside down, I can't remember, icosohedron. That's where the energy comes in from. That's where it would touch the sphere. So that's why the pyramid is built there, and that's why Hawaii is there, and Marphalites are there, and all that stuff. But so that's how energy works, and then as the little spheres within spheres, it eternally just gets smaller and smaller and smaller like that. Eternally. Well, that's like what Nassim Haramein says, but it didn't make sense to me. Why would you go eternally like that? I mean, I would say it would go in like that to a certain point, and then like bounce off. Well, and recycle like a black hole, and then bounce off, and then it's like, well, it spins in along the lattice work, hitting all of the little nodal points where the I'll just call it tetrahedrons hit the sphere, the little smaller tetrahedrons in the configuration, I think, of the golden mean spiral, because that's how all of the things in the universe, natural world, are created. But it goes in a circle, and then it hits the bottom, and then it spirals out. But so you're basically utilizing like a torsion field. Let's see if I can do this in under 10 minutes. The pyramids utilize energy that way too. The torsion field, they're the structure, and then the energy, the hyperdimensional energy, comes in from below this pyramid, spirals up through the top, and shoots out the top. So basically, it's like that. All you do is create a little tetrahedron with another tetrahedron on top of it. I'll call it icosohedron. And then just experiment with that. That's what he said. So that basically means that anybody can make a free energy machine. That'd be cool. I mean, like I made a pyramid out of copper with a little thick crystal hanging out of it at the same height as the king's chamber, and meditate in it, and I could definitely feel energy. So if you can feel energy that way, maybe you could actually harness it. So make one of those little, whoops, run out of time. Make one of those little things, and you know, maybe make it out of copper and then add a spark or something. I don't know, but anyways, that's how you make a free energy machine. It kind of reminds me of like the time travel machine with Dr. Brown or whatever. Remember the flux capacitor? Just shape. Like it's all just based off of a shape. Anyways, maybe I'll make a video later talking about Nassim Haramein, because what he was talking about there was pretty interesting. Okay, so yeah.